The morning sky above Earth suddenly went dark. People in cities around the world stopped what they were doing and looked up. Where blue sky should have been, massive black shapes now blocked out the sun. The alien ships were so big that they cast shadows over entire cities. Jake Morrison was having his morning coffee in the White House when his phone started ringing. Then another phone rang. Then all the phones in the room started ringing at once. The President of the United States knew something very bad was happening even before his assistant ran into the room with terror in her eyes. "Sir, you need to see this right now," she said, turning on the television. Every news channel showed the same thing. Giant alien ships hanging in the sky above every major city on Earth. The ships looked like nothing humans had ever seen before. They were dark gray and shaped like giant triangles. Each one was miles long and covered in strange lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. In orbit around Earth, Admiral Korek stood on the bridge of his flagship and smiled. The primitive world below looked exactly like his scouts had described. No real defenses, no powerful weapons, just a young species that had barely learned to leave their own planet. This would be easy. Korek was tall and thin with gray skin and large black eyes. He had conquered 12 worlds for the Zephyrian Empire. Each time had been the same. Show up with the fleet, make demands, watch the locals panic, then accept their surrender. He expected this to take no more than a few days. "Open a channel to the planet," Korek ordered his communication officer. Down on Earth, every television, radio, and computer screen suddenly showed the same image. The alien admiral appeared on screens around the world. When he spoke, somehow everyone could understand him in their own language. "People of Earth," Korek said in a cold voice. "I am Admiral Korek of the Zephyrian Empire. Your world now belongs to us. You have 48 hours to surrender completely. Lay down all weapons. Shut down all military forces. Prepare to be ruled by the Empire. If you resist, we will destroy your cities one by one until you submit. This is your only warning." The message ended and normal broadcasts returned. But nothing was normal anymore. President Morrison immediately called an emergency meeting. Within an hour, the most important military and government leaders in America were gathered in a secure room deep underground. General Lisa Carter, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, sat across from Admiral Pete Johnson, who commanded the Navy. Both looked grim. "What do we know?" Morrison asked. General Carter spread out photos and reports on the table. "We count over 200 alien ships in orbit. Each one is massive, bigger than our largest aircraft carriers. Our satellites show they have weapons we can't even identify. Energy shields protect every ship." Admiral Johnson leaned forward. "Sir, I have to be honest. Our entire military was built to fight other humans, not aliens from space. We have no idea what their technology can do, but it's clearly far beyond anything we have." "So, what are our options?" Morrison asked. "We fight," said a new voice from the doorway. Captain Amy Brooks walked into the room. She was young for a Navy captain, but she had earned her rank through skill and courage. "Sir, I know the odds look bad, but we can't just give up without trying." General Carter shook her head. "Captain, you've seen the same reports I have. Those ships are protected by energy shields that our weapons probably can't even scratch. This isn't like fighting another country, this is like fighting gods. Then we learn how to kill gods," Brooks said firmly. At the same time, in a secret research facility in Colorado, Dr. Rick Palmer was having his own emergency meeting. Palmer was one of the smartest scientists in America, and his job was to study new technologies that might help the military. Today, he was looking at the first close-up images of the alien ships. "Look at this," Palmer said to his team, pointing at his computer screen. "These ships are advanced, yes, but they follow the same basic rules of physics that we do. See these energy patterns around their hulls? Those are shields, but shields can be broken if you know how." Kate Murphy, his best engineer, studied the images carefully. "The energy signatures are strange but not impossible to understand. If we could get a closer look at their technology, we might learn how to fight it," Palmer finished. "The question is, how do we get close enough to study their ships without getting blown up?" Back in Washington, President Morrison made his decision. We're not surrendering. I don't care if they have better technology. I don't care if the odds are against us. This is our planet, and we're going to defend it. Admiral Johnson nodded. I'll get our fleets ready, sir. We have submarines, destroyers, aircraft carriers, and fighter jets. It's not much against what they have, but it's what we've got. What about our allies? Morrison asked. General Carter checked her reports. Every major country is dealing with the same thing we are. The aliens have ships over Moscow, Beijing, London, Paris, everywhere. But the Russians, Chinese, British, and others are all saying the same thing we are. They won't surrender either. Captain No. Brooks stepped forward. Sir, give me command of whatever ships we can put together. I know we're outgunned, but maybe we can learn something from the first battle that will help us in the next one. Morrison looked at the young captain. You understand this might be a suicide mission? Yes, sir, but if we don't try, we'll never know what's possible. The next morning, the largest fleet Earth had ever assembled gathered in the Pacific Ocean. Captain Brooks commanded from the USS Liberty, a destroyer that had been quickly fitted with the most advanced weapons America had. Around her were ships from every major navy on Earth. Russian submarines, Chinese destroyers, British cruisers, and American aircraft carriers all sailed together for the first time in history. Above them, the alien ships waited like patient hunters. Admiral Corex watched the human fleet gather through his ship's sensors. He laughed at what he saw. Look at them, he told his officers. They actually think those primitive weapons can hurt us. Their largest ship is smaller than our smallest fighter craft. Commander Vex, his second in command, was not as amused. Sir, should we destroy them before they can attack? No, Corex said. Let them come. Let them fire their weapons and see how useless they are. When they realize they cannot hurt us, they will give up hope. It will make the surrender easier. Captain Brooks stood on the bridge of the Liberty and watched the alien ships through her binoculars. They were even more impressive up close. Each one looked like it could destroy her entire fleet without effort, but she had a job to do. All ships, this is Captain Brooks, she said into her radio. Today we fight for our planet, our families, and our future. The enemy thinks we're weak because our technology is older than theirs. They think we'll give up easily because we're afraid. Let's show them what humans are really made of. The human fleet moved forward. Fighter jets launched from aircraft carriers and flew toward the alien ships. Missiles fired from destroyers and cruisers, leaving trails of smoke across the sky. The first battle for Earth had begun. The human weapons hit the alien ships exactly as expected. The missiles exploded harmlessly against energy shields that glowed brighter for a moment, then returned to normal. The fighter jets' bullets bounced off the alien hulls like raindrops on glass. Then the aliens fired back. Beams of pure energy lanced down from the alien ships. Where they touched human vessels, metal turned to vapor instantly. 3 destroyers disappeared in flashes of light. A Chinese cruiser simply ceased to exist. Fighter jets fell from the sky like burning birds. In less than 10 minutes, half the human fleet was gone. Captain Brooks watched her ships die and felt her heart break. But she also felt something else. Anger. Pure, burning anger at these creatures who thought they could just take her world. All remaining ships retreat to safe distance, she ordered. We need to regroup. As the surviving human ships pulled back, Admiral Corex nodded with satisfaction. Perfect. Now they know they cannot win. Send another message to their leaders. Tell them they have 24 hours left to surrender, or we start destroying their cities. But Corex made one mistake. He thought the humans would give up after seeing his power. He didn't understand that humans get more dangerous when they're angry, not less. And right now, every human on Earth was very, very angry. The alien ultimatum clock showed 23 hours and counting. In every major city on Earth, people could see the countdown displayed on the bottom of the massive ships hanging in the sky. The message was clear: surrender or die. But humanity was not preparing to surrender. Instead, they were doing what humans do best when their backs are against the wall. They were working together and thinking of new ways to fight. Dr. Rick Palmer had not slept since the first battle ended. In his underground laboratory in Colorado. He and his team were studying pieces of alien technology that had been recovered from the ocean. When the human weapons exploded against the alien shields, small fragments of alien metal had broken off and fallen into the water. Navy divers had risked their lives to collect every piece they could find. Kate Murphy held up a small chunk of gray alien metal. It was no bigger than her thumb, but it was the most important thing on Earth right now. "Look at this," she said, showing Palmer the readings on her computer. "This metal isn't just strong, it's smart. It changes its properties based on what kind of energy hits it." Palmer leaned closer to study the data. "So when our missiles hit their ships, the metal automatically got harder to resist the explosion." "Exactly," Kate said. "But here's the interesting part. The metal takes time to change. Maybe only a few seconds, but that's enough. If we could hit the same spot twice very quickly, the second hit might get through before the metal can adapt." Dan Rodriguez, the team's physicist, was working on a different problem at another table. "I've been studying the energy signatures from their shields," he said. "The shields work by creating a field that pushes away anything that tries to get through. But every energy field has a frequency, and every frequency has a weakness." Palmer felt excitement building in his chest. For the first time since the aliens arrived, he had hope. "What kind of weakness?" "If we can match the shield frequency exactly, we might be able to create interference. Like when you tune a radio to the exact same frequency as another radio and they cancel each other out." Kate looked up from her work. "How do we figure out their exact frequency?" "We need more data," Dan said. "We need to study their shields while they're active, which means we need to get close to their ships again." Palmer picked up his secure phone and called the White House. "I need to speak to the president immediately." 20 minutes later, Palmer was on a video call with President Morrison, General Carter, and Captain Brooks. Palmer explained what his team had discovered about the alien technology. "So you're telling me we might be able to hurt them?" Morrison asked. "I'm telling you we need to try a different approach," Palmer said. "Our first attack was designed to destroy their ships. But what if we just tried to learn about them instead?" Captain Brooks leaned forward. "What do you mean?" "Send up a small group of ships. Not to fight, but to probe their defenses, test different weapons, different approaches. See how they react. Every piece of information we gather makes us stronger." General Carter shook her head. "That's asking our people to fly suicide missions just to collect data." "No," Brooks said quietly. "It's asking them to be heroes, and I know plenty of people who would volunteer for that mission." She was right. When Captain Brooks put out the call for volunteers, more people signed up than she had ships to carry them. Pilots, sailors, and soldiers from every country on Earth wanted to help gather the information that might save their world. Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, Admiral Corex was growing impatient. He had given the humans 24 hours to surrender, but instead of preparing to give up, they seemed to be preparing for more fighting. His sensors detected human ships moving around the planet, gathering in small groups. Commander Vex approached his admiral with a worried expression. "Sir, the humans are not behaving as expected. Our intelligence said they would surrender quickly when faced with superior force." Corex waved his hand dismissively. "They are just scared and confused. Some species take longer to accept reality than others. Let them waste their time with pointless preparations. When the deadline passes, we will destroy one of their cities as an example. Then they will see reason." But Corex was making the same mistake that many others had made throughout human history. He was underestimating the power of human determination. Down. On Earth, Commander Troy Williams was leading a very dangerous mission. He and his team of Navy SEALs were in a submarine, trying to get as close as possible to the alien ships without being detected. Their job was to study the alien technology up close and collect any pieces that might fall from the ships. "Target acquired," Williams whispered into his radio. Above them, one of the smaller alien ships hung motionless in the water. It was only about the size of a football field, which made it tiny by alien standards, but it was still bigger than any human ship. Helen Garcia, a marine biologist who had volunteered for the mission, was using every sensor they had to study the alien ship. "The energy readings are incredible," she whispered. Their shields are constantly active, even when they're not fighting. But the energy pattern isn't steady. It pulses like a heartbeat. Williams made careful notes of everything. They observed. Every detail might be important. The way the ship moved, the sounds it made, the pattern of lights on its hull. Everything was recorded and transmitted back to Dr. Palmer's team. At the same time, Captain Brooks was preparing for the second battle. But this time, things would be different. Instead of trying to destroy the alien ships, her mission was to test them. She had ships loaded with different types of weapons, each designed to gather specific information. Remember, she told her captains over the radio, we're not trying to win this battle. We're trying to learn. Every weapon you fire, every reaction you see from the enemy, every piece of data you collect brings us one step closer to figuring out how to beat them. The human fleet approached the alien ships for the second time. But instead of attacking, all at once like before, they came in small groups. Each group tested something different. The first group fired regular missiles and recorded exactly how the alien shields reacted. The second group used laser weapons to see if energy attacks worked differently than explosives. The third group tried rapid-fire attacks to test Kate Murphy's theory about the adaptive metal. Admiral Corex watched the human attacks with confusion. What are they doing? He asked his officers. These attacks are too weak to cause damage. Are they just trying to annoy us? Maybe they're testing our defenses, Commander Vex suggested. Testing? Corex laughed. What is there to test? We are superior in every way. Their weapons cannot hurt us. But while Corex was laughing, the humans were learning. Dr. Palmer's team received data from every attack. They learned that the alien shields had a recharge cycle. They learned that different parts of the alien ships had different levels of protection. They learned that the aliens always responded to attacks in predictable patterns. Most importantly, they learned that the aliens were overconfident. Instead of adapting their tactics to counter human probing attacks, they simply used the same responses over and over again. Back in Palmer's lab, the breakthrough came at 3 a.m. Dan Rodriguez had been working on the shield frequency problem for 18 hours straight when he suddenly jumped up from his chair. I've got it, he shouted, waking up everyone else in the lab. The shield frequency isn't random. It follows a mathematical pattern. And if it follows a pattern, we can predict it. Kate Murphy rushed over to look at his calculations. You're right. The frequency changes every few seconds, but it changes in a cycle. If we time our attacks just right, we can hit them when their shields are weakest. Palmer finished. How long do we have? Kate looked at the clock. The alien ultimatum would expire in 6 hours. Not long enough to build new weapons, but maybe long enough to modify what we have. Palmer grabbed his phone again. Get me every engineer, every scientist, and every weapons expert we have. We're going to work a miracle in 6 hours. Across the planet, humans work together like never before. In weapons factories, engineers modified missiles to pulse at specific frequencies. In research labs, scientists calculated the exact timing needed to disrupt alien shields. In military bases, soldiers prepared for a battle that would be won or lost by split-second timing. Helen. Garcia, still underwater near the alien ship, made another important discovery. The small ships connect to the big ships with energy beams, she reported. If we could cut those connections, the small ships might lose power. Commander Williams immediately understood the importance of this information. Are you saying the, little ships depend on the big ships for power? I think so. The energy flows from the large ships to the smaller ones. Cut the connection, and the small ships might be helpless. This information was immediately sent to Captain Brooks, who was preparing her fleet for what might be the most important battle in human history. She now had 3 potential ways to hurt the alien ships: hit them when their shields were cycling, attack the same spot repeatedly before the adaptive metal could respond, and try to cut the power connections between large and small ships. It wasn't much, but it was more than they had before. And sometimes a small advantage is all you need to change everything. The alien countdown reached 0. Admiral Corex stood on his bridge and smiled as he prepared to destroy New York City. 8 million humans lived there, and their deaths would show the rest of the planet what happened to those who refused to surrender. Target the largest buildings first, Corex ordered his weapons officer. Let them watch their symbols of power turn to dust. But as the Zephyrian ships moved into position over New York, something unexpected happened. Their sensors began screaming. Warnings. Massive energy signatures were appearing all around them, seemingly out of nowhere. "What is that?" Commander Vex shouted, staring at his display screen in confusion. Space around the alien fleet suddenly filled with explosions. Hundreds of hidden mines that the humans had deployed during the night were detonating in perfect sequence. The mines had been made from pieces of alien technology, which is why the Zephyrian sensors had not detected them. Dr. Palmer had worked all night with his team to create the mines. They were not powerful enough to destroy alien ships, but they served a different purpose. Each mine sent out a pulse of energy designed to interfere with alien shield frequencies. "All human ships. This is Captain Brooks," came the voice over every radio channel. "Execute Operation Payback. Hit them now while their shields are disrupted." The human fleet that emerged from behind the moon was 3 times larger than the one that had been defeated the day before. Every ship that could float or fly had been armed and sent into battle. Cargo ships carried missiles, fishing boats had been fitted with torpedoes, and even civilian aircraft carried bombs. But the biggest surprise was not the number of ships. It was how they fought. Instead of attacking randomly like before, every human weapon fired at exactly the same moment. Dr. Palmer's calculations had been perfect. The alien shields, still recovering from the mine explosions, failed completely under the coordinated assault. For the first time since the invasion began, human weapons actually hurt the alien ships. Admiral Corex watched in shock as his smaller escort vessels began taking damage. Holes appeared in their hulls and several ships started spinning out of control. "Impossible," he whispered. "How are they penetrating our shields?" Commander Vex was frantically checking his instruments. "Sir, their weapons are synchronized to our shield frequency. Somehow they learned to match our defensive patterns." "Then change the frequency," Corex ordered. "We're trying, sir, but every time we change it, they change theirs to match. It's like they can predict what we're going to do." What the aliens did not understand was that Dan Rodriguez had cracked their shield frequency code. Every alien ship followed the same mathematical pattern, which meant that once the humans understood the pattern, they could predict exactly when each ship's shields would be weakest. Captain Brooks coordinated the human attack from the USS Liberty, but she was not fighting alone. Every ship in the fleet was connected through quantum communication systems that Dr. Palmer's team had built overnight. This allowed all human forces to act as one giant weapon instead of hundreds of separate ships. "Target the connection beams between their large and small ships," Brooks ordered. Helen Garcia was right. Cut the power and the small ships become helpless. Roy Chen, an engineer who had volunteered to fight on one of the converted cargo ships, fired a specially modified laser at the energy beam connecting a large alien ship to its smaller escorts. The beam cut through the alien energy connection like a knife through paper. Immediately, 3 small alien ships went dark and began drifting helplessly through space. "It works!" Chen shouted over the radio. "The small ships are powered by the big ones. Cut the connection and they're dead in the water." This discovery changed everything. The human fleet stopped trying to destroy the massive alien motherships and focused on cutting the power connections instead. Within minutes, dozens of small alien ships were floating helplessly, while their motherships tried desperately to re-establish connections. But the humans had more surprises. Colonel Beth Taylor, commanding ground-based defense systems, had spent the night preparing something special. Hidden installations all over Earth suddenly revealed themselves and began firing. What appeared to be ordinary hills and forests opened up to reveal massive weapon systems. Orbital defense platforms that had been disguised as space junk came online and began targeting alien ships with deadly precision. The aliens found themselves surrounded by enemies they had never seen coming. "This is impossible," Admiral Corex said, his voice shaking. "Our intelligence report said this species was primitive. They barely had space travel. How do they have quantum communications and cloaked weapons?" Commander Vex checked his battle reports. "Sir, we've lost 60% of our escort ships and 40% of our fighters. The humans are using our own technology against us." What Vex did not realize was that the humans were not just using alien technology. They were improving it. Kate Murphy and her engineering teams had taken the captured alien materials and made them better. Human creativity combined with alien science was proving to be a deadly combination. Major Alex Turner was piloting one of the new human fighters that had been built overnight. The ship looked like nothing that had ever flown before, combining human engineering with alien technology. It was faster than any human aircraft and more maneuverable than any alien fighter. "This is incredible," Turner said as he dodged between alien ships, firing precisely aimed shots at shield generators and weapon systems. "These ships handle like dreams." Turner was not alone. Hundreds of hybrid human-alien fighters were swarming through the alien fleet like angry bees. They were too small and fast for the large alien ships to target effectively, but they carried weapons powerful enough to damage important systems. The psychological effect on the Zephyrians was devastating. These beings had conquered 12 worlds by showing up with superior technology and demanding surrender. They had never faced an enemy that could adapt and improve their technology in real time. Nancy Hill, working as a communications specialist, was intercepting alien radio transmissions. What she heard made her smile. "Captain Brooks, you need to hear this. The aliens are panicking. They're saying things like, 'How did they learn so fast? And this species is not like the others.'" Brooks felt a fierce satisfaction. Good. Let them be afraid for once. But Admiral Corex was not ready to give up. He still had his larger ships, and they carried weapons that could destroy entire cities. If he could not win through superior technology, he would win through sheer destructive power. "All large ships, prepare planetary bombardment weapons," he ordered. "If we cannot conquer this world, we will destroy it. No species that resists the Empire can be allowed to survive." Dr. Palmer, monitoring alien communications from his lab, heard this order and felt his blood run cold. "They're going to try to destroy the whole planet," he told President Morrison over the radio. "We need to stop them now or there won't be anything left to save." Captain Brooks received the same information and knew she had only minutes to act. The human fleet had proven they could hurt the alien ships, but destroying them completely was a different challenge. The larger alien vessels were still heavily protected, and their main weapons were charging up to fire at Earth. "All ships, new priority target," Brooks announced. "The big ships are preparing to destroy the planet. We have to stop them now, no matter the cost." But as the human fleet prepared for a desperate final assault, something unexpected happened. The smaller alien ships that had been cut off from power suddenly began moving again. However, they were not attacking the humans. Instead, they were moving away from their own fleet. Helen Garcia, still monitoring from her submarine, was the first to understand what was happening. "The small ships aren't being controlled by the big ships anymore," she reported. "When we cut the power connections, we also cut the command connections. The small ship crews are making their own decisions now, and many of those crews were deciding they did not want to die for Admiral Corex's pride." Commander Vex watched in horror as ship after ship in his fleet began to retreat without orders. "Sir, our formation is collapsing. The escort ships are withdrawing from battle." Admiral Corex's face turned dark with rage. "Cowards. They are all cowards. Fine. We will destroy this world ourselves." But the human fleet was not going to give him that chance. Every human ship, fighter, and weapon system focused on the remaining large alien vessels. The attack was so intense that space itself seemed to catch fire. The battle that followed would be remembered as the moment when humanity proved that determination and ingenuity could overcome any technological advantage. The aliens had started the day expecting to destroy a helpless planet. Instead, they found themselves fighting for their lives against an enemy that refused to give up. And for the first time since the invasion began, Admiral Corex realized he might actually lose. Admiral Corex watched his mighty fleet fall apart around him. In less than 2 hours, he had lost more ships than in his previous 12 conquests combined. The humans were not just fighting back anymore, they were winning. "Status report," he demanded, though he already knew the news would be bad. Commander Vex looked at his damaged control panel with shaking hands. "Sir, we have lost 70% of our escort ships. 40% of our fighters are destroyed or disabled. The remaining small ships are retreating without orders. And our main battle cruisers? 6 are heavily damaged. 2 have lost main. Power. The flagship is operating at 60% capacity. Vex paused, then added quietly, "Sir, we should consider retreat." Korex slammed his fist on the command console. Retreat? The Zephyrian Empire does not retreat from primitives. We will regroup and show these humans what real power looks like. But even as he spoke those words, Korex knew the situation was desperate. Everything about this invasion had gone wrong. The humans were supposed to be weak and frightened. Instead, they were adapting faster than his own forces could respond. Captain Amy Brooks stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty, watching the alien fleet try to reform their battle lines. Her communications officer was receiving reports from human ships across the solar system, and every report brought good news. "Captain, the Chinese fleet reports successful attacks on the alien mining ships near the asteroid belt," the officer said. "The Russian submarines have disabled 3 more alien vessels in Earth orbit. The European space fighters are reporting total success in their raids." Brooks nodded with satisfaction. The human counterattack was working better than anyone had dared to hope, but she knew the aliens were not defeated yet. The larger ships still had enough firepower to destroy entire continents. "What's the status on Dr. Palmer's new project?" she asked. "Ready for testing, ma'am. He says it's the craziest thing he's ever built, but it should work." Dr. Palmer's latest invention was indeed crazy. His team had discovered that alien technology was not just advanced, it was also predictable. Every alien system followed the same basic design patterns, which meant that once you understood one system, you could hack into all of them. Kate Murphy was putting the finishing touches on what they were calling the feedback weapon. It was not designed to destroy alien ships. Instead, it would turn the aliens' own defensive systems against them. "The principle is simple," Palmer explained to President Morrison over a secure video link. "Their shields protect them by pushing away incoming attacks, but if we can reverse the shield polarity, the shields will push inward instead of outward. The ship will basically crush itself." Morrison looked skeptical. "And this will work?" "In theory, yes. We've tested it on small pieces of alien technology, but we've never tried it on a full-size chip. There's only one way to find out if it really works." Back in space, the remaining alien fleet was trying a new strategy. Instead of staying grouped together where human fighters could swarm them, they were spreading out across the solar system. Admiral Korex hoped this would make it harder for the humans to coordinate their attacks. He was wrong. Major Alex Turner was leading a squadron of the new human-alien hybrid fighters toward Mars, where several alien ships had retreated. His ships were so fast and maneuverable that the distance to Mars took only a few hours instead of months. "Target acquired," Turner reported as he spotted an alien heavy cruiser hiding behind one of Mars's moons. Beginning attack run, but Turner was not planning a normal attack. His fighters carried Dr. Palmer's feedback weapons, and he was about to test them in real combat for the first time. The alien cruiser detected Turner's approach and raised its shields, confident that the small human fighters could not hurt such a large ship. The alien captain had seen human weapons bounce harmlessly off shields dozens of times. Turner locked his targeting system onto the ship's main shield generator and fired. Instead of trying to punch through the shield, his weapon sent a pulse of energy that reprogrammed the shield's control system. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the alien ship began to shake. The shields that were supposed to protect, it started pushing inward, crushing the hull like an invisible giant's fist. "It works," Turner shouted into his radio. "The feedback weapon works. The alien ship is tearing itself apart." Within minutes, the heavy cruiser was nothing but floating debris. The news of Turner's success spread through the human fleet like wildfire. Suddenly, every human ship wanted feedback weapons. Dr. Palmer's team worked frantically to build as many as possible and get them to the fighting ships. Roy Chen, commanding a modified cargo ship, received one of the first new weapons. He immediately flew toward Jupiter, where 3 alien ships were trying to establish a new base. Chen's ship was slow and clumsy compared to Turner's fighter, but the feedback weapon did not require fancy flying to be effective. This is for everyone who died in the first battle, Chen said as he fired at the nearest alien ship. The alien vessel's shields turned against it instantly. Metal screamed as the ship's own defenses crushed it from the inside. The other two alien ships tried to run, but Chen's slow cargo ship was already targeting them. Meanwhile, Colonel Beth Taylor was coordinating ground-based attacks on alien ships that had landed on Earth's surface. Some alien crews, seeing their fleet being destroyed in space, had tried to land and establish ground bases where they could hide. They had not expected Earth's ground defenses to be so effective. "Fire mission complete," Taylor reported as her artillery destroyed another alien landing site. Enemy forces eliminated, no survivors. The aliens who had landed on Earth quickly discovered that humans were just as dangerous on the ground as they were in space. Human soldiers used captured alien weapons combined with their own tactics to create devastating ambushes. Alien troops, used to fighting enemies who were afraid of their technology, found themselves facing humans who treated alien weapons like interesting new toys. Commander Troy Williams was leading a special forces team against an alien command post in the Nevada desert. His men had studied alien equipment for days and now understood it better than some aliens did. "Remember," Williams told his team as they approached the alien base, "their personal shields work the same way as their ship shields. Same frequency, same weaknesses. Use the disruptors to take down their protection, then hit them with everything we've got." The attack on the alien base lasted exactly 12 minutes. When it was over, the humans had captured the entire facility and taken several alien prisoners. The prisoners were terrified, which surprised Williams. He had expected alien soldiers to be fearless. "They're scared of us," he reported to his commanders. "These aliens have never fought an enemy that could match their technology. They don't know how to handle being outmatched." Nancy Hill, still intercepting alien communications, was hearing panic in every transmission. Alien ship captains were reporting impossible human abilities. Some claimed that human ships could appear and disappear at will. Others insisted that human weapons could turn alien technology against itself. All of these reports were true, but the aliens could not understand how a primitive species had developed such advanced capabilities so quickly. The answer was simple. Humans had not developed the technology themselves. They had stolen it, studied it, improved it, and turned it against its creators. Human ingenuity combined with alien science was proving to be unstoppable. Admiral Corex received a communication from the Zephyrian High Command. The message was brief and terrifying. "Admiral, you have lost contact with over 80% of your fleet. What is your status?" Corex looked around his damaged bridge. Half his officers were dead or wounded. His flagship was barely functional. His invasion force had been reduced to less than a dozen ships. "High Command," he replied slowly. "I regret to report that the humans have proven to be more resourceful than anticipated." "Explain." "They learn, High Command. They learn faster than we can adapt. Every tactic we use, they counter within hours. Every technology we deploy, they steal and improve. They are not like the other species we have conquered." There was a long pause before High Command responded. "Admiral, you are ordered to withdraw immediately and return to base. We will send reinforcements." "Understood, High Command, but I must warn you, if you send more ships to this system, the humans will capture them and use them against us. This species is unlike anything we have encountered before." Commander Vex approached his admiral with more bad news. "Sir, the humans have established a blockade around our remaining ships. They're not trying to destroy us anymore. They're trying to capture us." Corex felt a chill run down his spine. Being captured by the humans might be worse than being destroyed. These creatures had already proven they could take alien technology and make it better. What would they do with live alien prisoners? Captain Brooks was indeed planning to capture the remaining alien ships if possible. Her scientists wanted to study complete alien vessels, not just fragments. More importantly, they wanted to question alien crews about other potential threats to Earth. "Attention alien fleet," Brooks transmitted on all frequencies. "This is Captain Amy Brooks of the Earth Defense Force. You are surrounded and outgunned. Surrender now and you will be treated according to the laws of war." The final battle took place near Jupiter, where Admiral Corex had gathered the last remnants of his once mighty fleet. 12 ships remained out of the 200 that had arrived to conquer Earth just 3 days ago. The Zephyrian admiral stared at the approaching human fleet and felt something he had never experienced before: complete defeat. Captain Amy Brooks commanded over 300 human vessels as they surrounded the alien survivors. Some were military ships, but many were civilian craft that had been armed and crewed by volunteers. Cargo ships flew alongside destroyers. Fishing boats sailed next to aircraft carriers. The entire human race had come together to fight for their world. "Alien fleet, this is your final warning," Brooks transmitted. "Surrender immediately or be destroyed. You have 60 seconds to decide." Admiral Corex looked around his damaged bridge. Half his crew was wounded or dead. His ship's systems were failing one by one. Through the view screen, he could see human ships positioned perfectly to destroy what remained of his fleet. But Corex was still proud. He was a Zephyrian admiral who had conquered 12 worlds. He would not surrender without one last attempt to prove his superiority. "All ships, attack formation," he ordered. "If we are going to die, we will die fighting." The remaining alien ships moved into battle formation, their weapons charging for one final assault. But as they prepared to fight, something strange happened. The human ships did not scatter or prepare defensive positions like normal enemies would do. Instead, they moved closer together. Major Alex Turner, flying one of the hybrid human-alien fighters, watched the alien ships approach with calm confidence. "All fighters execute Formation Delta," he commanded. What happened next amazed even the humans who were doing it. The entire human fleet began moving as one giant organism. Ships that should have been too different to work together moved in perfect harmony. Fast fighters protected slow cargo ships. Large vessels provided cover for smaller ones. Every ship supported every other ship in a complex dance of cooperation. Commander Vex, watching from the alien flagship, could not believe what he was seeing. "Sir, how are they coordinating so many different ships so perfectly? Our computers cannot even track all their movements." The answer was Dr. Palmer's quantum communication network. Every human ship was connected to every other human ship instantly. When one captain saw a threat, every captain knew about it immediately. When one ship needed help, dozens of others responded without being asked. The Zephyrians had always fought as individual ships following orders from above. They had never seen anything like human teamwork on this scale. Admiral Corex gave the order to fire. His ships launched their most powerful weapons at the human fleet, energy beams that could destroy entire cities. But the humans were ready. The energy attacks struck a wall of coordinated defensive fire. Hundreds of human ships fired at exactly the same moment, creating a barrier of energy that stopped the alien weapons completely. The alien attacks, which should have destroyed dozens of human vessels, were absorbed harmlessly. "Impossible," Corex whispered. "How did they stop our main weapons?" Kate Murphy, working from her command ship, smiled as she watched her latest invention work perfectly. "Because we understand your technology better than you do," she said, even though the aliens could not hear her. Murphy had discovered that alien energy weapons followed the same frequency patterns as their shields. By reversing those patterns, human weapons could cancel out alien attacks completely. The aliens were being defeated by their own predictable technology. Roy Chen, commanding his modified cargo ship, targeted the alien flagship's main weapon systems. "This is for Earth," he said as he fired a feedback pulse directly into the ship's power core. The alien flagship shuddered as its own systems turned against it. Lights flickered, computers failed, and weapons shut down one by one. Within minutes, the most powerful ship in the Zephyrian fleet was completely helpless. The other alien ships fared no better. Human fighters swarmed around them like angry bees, disabling weapons and engines with surgical precision. The humans were no longer trying to destroy the alien ships. They were capturing them intact for study. Commander Troy Williams led boarding parties onto the disabled alien vessels. His troops moved through the alien ships with confidence, using captured alien weapons better than their original owners. Most alien crew members surrendered immediately when they saw humans carrying Zephyrian energy rifles. "Secure the bridge," Williams ordered as his team reached the command center of an alien cruiser. "Take all the officers prisoner. We have questions." For them, the alien officers surrendered without resistance. They had seen what humans could do and no longer believed in Zephyrian superiority. Within 2 hours, every remaining alien ship had been captured or disabled. The great Zephyrian invasion fleet was now entirely under human control. Admiral Corex found himself standing in his own bridge, surrounded by human soldiers waiting to formally surrender to Captain Brooks. Brooks entered the alien bridge wearing her dress uniform. She wanted this moment to be remembered properly. Behind her walked Dr. Palmer, General Carter, and President Morrison, who had come personally to accept the alien surrender. Admiral Corex looked at the humans with confusion and something that might have been respect. These creatures had done the impossible. They had taken his advanced technology and made it their own. They had turned his strengths into weaknesses and his weapons against him. "I am Admiral Corex of the Zephyrian Empire," he said formally. "I surrender my fleet to you." Captain Brooks nodded. "Your surrender is accepted. Your crew will be treated humanely, according to our laws of war." Corex studied the human officers carefully. "I must ask you something," he said. "Your weapons, your ships, your tactics, your technology, is that all? Is there some secret weapon that explains how you defeated us so completely?" President Morrison stepped forward. "No, Admiral, that's not all." Corex leaned forward, expecting to finally learn the secret of human power. Morrison continued. "We have something your empire has never encountered before. We have the refusal to give up. We have the ability to learn from every mistake. We have the determination to protect our home no matter what the odds look like." The president paused, then added, "You made one critical error, Admiral. You assumed that because we had not faced your level of technology before, we could not adapt to it. But adaptation under pressure is not just what we do. It is who we are." Dr. Palmer stepped forward with a small device in his hand. "This contains complete technical specifications for every piece of technology in your fleet. We reverse-engineered it all in 3 days. Your shields, your weapons, your engines, your computers. We understand all of it now." Corex stared at the device in shock. 3 days? It took our scientists centuries to develop that technology. "That's the difference between us," Palmer said. "You develop technology slowly and carefully. We steal it, improve it, and turn it against our enemies as fast as possible." Kate Murphy smiled. "We also added a few improvements to your designs. Your ships are now 40% more efficient than they were when you arrived. You're welcome." The alien admiral felt his understanding of the universe shift. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered world after world by showing up with superior technology and demanding surrender. They had never faced a species that could take that technology and make it better in a matter of days. Commander Vex, also a prisoner now, asked quietly, "What will happen to us?" General Carter answered, "You will be returned to your empire with a message. Tell your leaders that Earth is under human protection now. Any future attacks will be met with overwhelming force." "You mean you are not going to invade our worlds in return?" Vex asked, surprised. Captain Brooks shook her head. "We are not conquerors, Commander. We are defenders. We do not attack others unless they attack us first. But if anyone threatens our world again, they will discover that we have made some improvements to your technology." 6 months later, news of humanity's victory had spread throughout the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire, facing rebellions on dozens of worlds inspired by Earth's example, agreed to peace treaties and began freeing the planets they had conquered. Other alien empires that had been planning to attack Earth quietly canceled their invasion plans. No one wanted to face a species that could take advanced technology and improve it overnight. Dr. Palmer stood in his new laboratory, which was built from converted alien technology. Around him, human scientists worked with equipment that was beyond anything they had dreamed of just months before. They were already developing improvements that would make human ships faster and stronger than anything in the galaxy. President Morrison visited the lab to see humanity's latest achievements. "How are we doing, Doctor?" Palmer smiled. "Better than ever, sir. We have learned to combine alien technology with human creativity. The results are extraordinary. Any word from our deep space exploration ships? They report that our reputation has spread far beyond this sector. Some alien civilizations are requesting peaceful contact with us. They want to trade technology and knowledge." Morrison nodded with satisfaction. "Good. We proved we can defend ourselves. Now let's prove we can be good neighbors to those who approach us in peace."